It's 2 years since Myanmar's military leaders overthrew the government led by Aung San Suu Kyi. The fallout from the coup continues to this day. It's estimated around 70,000 people have left Myanmar, with more than 1 million having been displaced. The UN has accused the military leaders of war crimes and crimes against humanity. Let's talk to our correspondent Jonathan Head, who's on the Thai-Burmese border near the town of Mae Sot. And Jonathan, what has changed in Myanmar over the last 2 years?
Well, sadly, nothing good, apart from the incredible show of unity that people opposing the coup were able to show openly in the early months after it, and have since had to do so by either fleeing to this part of Thailand over the river you can see behind me. There's a lot of crossing of dissidents coming over here to seek sanctuary, or taking up arms against the military. But the consequences of that war now, that civil war, as the civil war has been going on now for around 18 months, have been very severe for the human population, particularly outside the main cities, where the authorities have managed to kind of stabilise the economy and there's some kind of normalcy. But outside, much of the country is in the hands of local communities and insurgent groups who are fighting the military with whatever weapons they can get. The military has responded by using, particularly recently, air power, gunships and ground attack aircraft to bomb villages. Troops then go in and burn down homes. Some 40,000 houses have been burnt down in military operations. And of course, you can imagine what's happening to the populations there. We've got 8 million children out of school, 40% of people living below the poverty line, 15 million dangerously short of food. So the country is stuck in this really dreadful status quo. What everyone's been waiting for is some sign that the military recognises that it's not winning, that its coup was a blunder, and that it might soften its hold. That hasn't happened. Instead, the regime has been talking about holding an election this year, even though it doesn't control much of the country. We haven't yet heard them commit to that date. That's something we're expecting to hear in the next 24 or 48 hours.
Elections, as you say, Jonathan, scheduled for later this year. Do we know who might be involved and who won't be involved?
I think we can be pretty certain that the woman who resoundingly won the last free election that was held in this country just over 2 years ago, Aung San Suu Kyi, who of course is still revered across Myanmar, will not be allowed to contest. She has had multiple charges piled up against her and been convicted and is being held in prison. She's facing, at the moment, she's been sentenced to 33 years in prison, which is pretty much the rest of her natural life. Her party, the National League for Democracy, most of them have gone into opposition, into hiding. Some of them are even over on the Thai side here. They almost certainly won't be allowed to contest. And any plans for an election have been pretty universally condemned as irrelevant to the country, as illegitimate and entirely impractical when you have such a large degree of opposition and among people who are determined to stop the election and not to take part.
Jonathan, thanks very much for now. Jonathan Head there on the Thai-Burmese border.